Senate, House committees to meet Tuesday and Wednesday. Fed, FDIC, and Treasury officials to testify on bank failures. Welcome to Long Branch News, your daily source for the latest business news and trends from around the world. Whether you're an entrepreneur, investor, or simply interested in the world of business, our channel is the perfect place to stay up to date on the latest developments in the industry. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our team of experienced reporters and analysts brings you the stories that matter most, delivered in a clear and concise format. So if you're ready to stay ahead of the curve and take your business acumen to the next level, hit that subscribe button and join us on this exciting journey. Congressional committees are poised to start probing the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, offering a stage for what's likely to be a partisan clash over the role of financial regulations and the people charged with enforcing them in the second-largest bank failure in U.S. history. The Senate Banking Committee will meet Tuesday, followed by the House Financial Services Committee on Wednesday. Each will hear from Martin J. Gruenberg, chair of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, Michael Barr, vice chair for supervision at the Federal Reserve, and Nellie Liang, undersecretary for domestic finance at the Treasury Department. Notably absent from the list, former SVB chief executive Gregory Becker and former Signature Bank CEO Joseph DePaolo, who've been asked to testify this week or at a later date. The witnesses face a grilling over the handling of SVB's collapse, which sent shockwaves through the financial system as regulators seized the lender and took emergency steps to prevent a broader collapse. SVB was sold to Raleigh, North Carolina-based First Citizens Bancshares Incorporated late Sunday night, 2 weeks after the FDIC announced it would backstop all of SVB's uninsured deposits. Congress's response has primarily broken along party lines. Republicans have pointed to a lack of supervision by the Fed and blasted President Joe Biden for what they call a bailout of a woke bank. Democrats have largely blamed a regulatory rollback during Donald Trump's presidency that loosened oversight requirements for mid-sized banks like SVB, though some face criticism for joining Republicans in voting for it. Don't expect legislation immediately, though. My job is to do oversight, not to rush this, but not to delay it either, Senate Banking Committee Chairman Sherrod Brown, a Democrat from Ohio, said at an American Bankers Association conference last week. This week's hearings are expected to be the first of many, in what's set to be a long, drawn-out debate over legislative fixes. Here are 3 topics to keep an eye on, and the most important members to watch. Fed oversight. The role of bank examiners has become a central issue in the debate over why SVB collapsed, particularly after Bloomberg reported that examiners at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco raised flags about the bank months before its downfall. Barr, the Fed's vice chair for supervision, is currently undertaking an internal review of its oversight and regulation of the bank, which will be released by May 1st. In prepared remarks for the Senate hearing released on Monday, Barr said, SVB failed because the bank's management did not effectively manage its interest rate and liquidity risk, before then suffering a devastating run by its uninsured depositors. Fed oversight of SVB needs to be thoroughly reviewed, Barr also said. He added that he was committed to ensure we fully address what went wrong. While Barr's probe is underway, Senators Rick Scott, a Republican from Florida, and Democrat Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts backed a bill to create a Senate-confirmed watchdog for the Fed and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Warren has also supported legislation to make the regional Fed banks subject to Freedom of Information rules. Banking regulation. In 2018, Congress passed S. 2155, a bill that rolled back components of the 2010 Dodd-Frank law for small and mid-sized banks, including the need to stress test some of them. The measure passed with bipartisan support, 67-31, and remains the last piece of major legislation to move through the Senate Banking Committee. Since SVB was exempted from stricter regulatory standards under that 2018 bill, many critics have pointed to it as a potential cause of the blow-up. Stress testing SVB might have helped regulators to spot weaknesses, they argued. Warren introduced legislation earlier this month to roll back some of the deregulation. But advocates of the 2018 measure have stood by it, including two key moderate Democratic senators, Mark Warner of Virginia and Jon Tester of Montana. How they approach Tuesday's hearing will offer insight into their willingness to bolster bank regulation. Read more: Fed's bank tests overlooked risk of rapid rise in interest rates. FDIC insurance. While the goal of this week's hearings is primarily fact-finding, members are also likely to put down markers for legislative ideas percolating on Capitol Hill, including potential bipartisan action on FDIC deposit insurance limits. Proposals include raising the insurance cap, eliminating the cap permanently or temporarily, and creating a different insurance category for businesses. Read more: odds improving for Congress to strike a deal on FDIC cap, key U.S. senator says. But Congress is a long way off from agreeing on a legislative response. Too often as legislators we walk around and assume the answer is legislation, Patrick McHenry, a North Carolina Republican and chair of the House Financial Services Committee, said at last week's bankers' conference. We can't legislate competence. And even if key players can agree on a solution, obstacles abound in a factious Congress. Ultra-conservatives from Senator Josh Hawley to the House Freedom Caucus are against raising FDIC limits, while progressives like Warren have demanded that higher limits be tied to tighter regulations for banks, a tough sell in a GOP-led House and with a narrow Democratic majority in the Senate. Thanks for tuning in to Long Branch News today. We hope you found the latest business news and trends informative and insightful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a future update from us. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more high-quality business news content in the days and weeks ahead. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead.